Gotta aim for the top like, hold up. Yeah, I can never doubt myself, I know better. All of you critics be acting like you know better. Blowing the smoke, but I know when the dust settles that I'm in my element, it's evident that there's levels to the game. All of those dark nights I got then, breaking my back to make it out, got me feeling like rain. I ain't never need your help, I know you wishing me well. A penny for your thoughts, but seeing no change. I snap for the sun like Diddy, the riches got a mad ass son, I'm like Billy. I ain't never switch up, whole team with me. Putting on for my city like OAGZ. Set the pace as long as you finish. Consumers find a way inside your business. Babble if they try to dabble in it and they hate the fact that they may have to witness. You try to aim for the top like this and you're in your element with a fire like this. And they hoping you fall and they praying you miss, but it's all in the risk. I got you with the switch, you know. I'm in the zone. Give me the throne. One shot, that's all that you got. That's all that I know. Foot on the gas. 155 on the road. You could be a friend of me, an enemy. Keep that same old energy.
Hello and welcome to the Printing Money Podcast Week 3. I'm joined here again by our buddy Big Al Poker. What's up, brother? How you doing?
What's up, buddy? How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Big Al's a little under the weather since I whooped his ass last week. But he decided to come on down anyways, and make sure that we kind of know exactly what's going on and how he's going to recover from the Jordan Love hangover that he's currently on right now when he thought they were actually going to beat the Atlanta Falcons. Right, brother?
Yeah, but I got him plus 2.5, so I'm good.
Yeah, all right. You should be happy that line moved last second because you were willing to take him on the money line, if I remember correctly.
I did. I took him on the money line, but I got more money on them on the teaser at 7.5, and then I took him at 1.5, 2.5. So
yeah, I middled that entire game, dude. I had the Falcons 7.5, Packers at 9, Falcons on the money line. Got the Falcons on the money line when it was minus 1.5, so I got that even money with no juice. That was a great football game. I wish they all worked that way.
Fucking A, right? Seriously. Yeah. How about that Colts game, huh? Colts game, right? Look at that. Covered, easy, and over.
Well, covered in the over, but, so Al changed his mind apparently after we filmed last week and said how confident he was in the over after predicting the game would be 20-17 live for all of you guys. He claims he had the over, ladies and gentlemen. But he thought the score.
Let me show you my tickets.
I do have to give you a little credit, though. You did say they would have 6 sacks on C.J. Stroud, and they had exactly 6 sacks on C.J. Stroud. That's amazing.
That was pretty good.
Anyways, that's the good. I guess we'll talk about the bad a little bit because I had a survivor pick of the Denver Broncos, and man, did they ruin a bunch of people's weekends last week. 21-3 in the first half, and then just fell apart. It was like Russ poisoned the kitchen during the middle of halftime. It was insane to me.
Yeah, it was terrible, man. Those fuckers the under killed me in that game.
How in the world
under 44.5 loss, under 44.5.
I don't know, dude. How do you go up 21-3 in Denver against Sam Howell and then just surrender 35 points?
Seriously, I understand that it all was just utterly just
it was just so disheartening. I mean, it was so disheartening to me. I can tell you that. And good news is I'm in more than one Survivor League. The bad news is the expected value. If you went Commanders week 1, Broncos week 2, and had that expected value going in the rest of Survival, do you know what you can hedge for come like week 11?
Oh yeah,
because everyone had already blown the Ravens. People had blown all these good teams, and it's like, man, we were good to go here with what were going to be like easy picks going forward when we've already got 30-40% of the league eliminated, and they give up 4 touchdowns in Denver to Sam Howell, and then worse, they throw the Hail Mary that Planko's off of 5 players, right? Gets caught, and then the guy gets absolutely jobbed for pass interference on the 2-point conversion, and there's no flag. So, as bad as it was, Denver shouldn't even have necessarily have lost the game. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me right now.
Yeah, that was horrible. Horrible refereeing, and it was really hard for a PI to turn.
Explain to me how Sean Payton is always on the back end of these insane PIs that aren't called. Do you remember the playoff game?
Against the Rams?
It's always Sean Payton. Sean Payton cannot get a PI call if his life depends on it, dude.
Yeah, he has bad luck with that. How many survivors lost with the Bengals first game?
The Bengals. It depends on the league, but so my big league has 4,000 players, and it was 22% or something.
Wow.
Just
Yeah,
crazy.
I figured.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
but it depends on the
so-
league. You know, it's like if you're in a small survivor pool, like 30, 40 people, right, then you could just go with favorites. You know, like my survivor pick this week is the Chiefs because they play the Bears, and I'm just fading the Bears at this point. I think they're the worst team in football. You know, when else are you going to use the Chiefs? The Chiefs don't look all world like normal, so I'm not comfortable using them in a lot of other spots right now. You can go with Dallas, right? But if you go with Dallas over Arizona, who's another team I would fade every week, and we started doing that with the Commanders. But I like Dallas in 12 other games this year. I don't want to waste Dallas. So you're just trying to use a bunch of teams to where
Yeah.
when it comes to like week 8, 9, 10, and everyone's got tough games because these teams get better or injuries happen and things happen that you can't predict, right? And they're having to sit there and go, holy smokes, who am I throwing out in this division game with a -3 at home? And it's coin flipping for my life. And I'm going, it's okay, I still have the Niners. I'll just trot the Niners out against the Cardinals. It's fine. That's
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
only way to get equity in these leagues. It's like I'd rather lose early, and I get that's not a popular opinion. Of course, if you took the Broncos last week and I told you to, you don't like me very much right now, but it was a good pick. It just doesn't work out all the time. You know, it's like going for it on fourth down. You're a hero or you're a goat. We find out pretty quick.
Yeah, we went for a fourth down the first game against the Jaguars like 4 times and didn't get converted once. So
Right.
I know how it feels.
If he converts every single one of them and you win the game, you're talking about how he's the greatest coach in football history. So, you know,
Yeah.
it's just one of these things where this is how it works. And I was wrong last week, but I try not to be results orientated. I don't feel wrong. I watched the game. I feel like the pick was fine. I feel like it was absolutely fine. It's depressing.
Absolutely.
Anyways, let's move on to week 3, where bigger and better things are upon us. And here we are with Thursday night football, which I'm excited about. I'll be traveling out there tomorrow morning. I can't wait. Niners home opener against the New York Football Giants. Niners are -10. How do you feel about that, Big Al?
Oh, you find out to the game?
Absolutely.
nice.
Absolutely.
All right, sweet, man. Well, you know, after the Niners smashed the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh by what was it, 37-7 or 30-7, something like that.
30-7.
Yeah, I just don't trust Danny Dimes here going to Frisco against that defense. I know Giants historically have always played the Niners, you know, very tough. Those games have always been actually, you know, just like I said, historically just been a battle between those two teams. It's
Yeah.
never been like a complete blowout or one-sided. But the Niners are a different team this year. And I continue to have faith in Brock Purdy in that Niners defense. And I just, you know, look what the Cardinals did to Danny Dimes last week. You know, 28-3 or 20-7 to start the game.
Yeah. Josh
the
Dobbs
Cardinals
is out there
defense-
just looking like a monster last week because the Giants have no defense.
Cardinals defense is not the Niner defense. So if the Niners come out with a double-digit lead, which I think they will right away, it's all over for the Giants. I think honestly the Niners win this game. My prediction for this game is 27-10. I don't even think they cover teaser. I think if you're going to go in teaser, you tease Niners down -4. Go to that Giants +16 as tempting as it sounds, +16. Keep Giants on the road is Danny Dimes, and I still have faith in him playing against the Niner defense on the road.
Yeah, so one of my favorite bets of the week is I tease the Niners to -4, and we know how many teasers I put in and how much of a teaser better I am. The Niners are not having any trouble covering 4. The only reason I don't like the 10 is because I see us sitting up by 14 points or, 17 points, whatever it is in the fourth quarter, and just allowing some garbage time nonsense, to take place. But I love the 4. If you ask me if I want to lay the 10, there's nothing wrong with laying the 10. I think the 10 is a plus EV bet, but I think the 4 is guaranteed. Like, it's a guarantee. And I don't think the 16 is guaranteed. I don't.
Yeah, no Saquon Barkley makes a big difference.
No Saquon Barkley makes all the difference in the world. I can't even believe this line came down. So this line on the look ahead was 10.5. Saquon goes out and gets hurt, and the line drops to 10. And I'm like, I get they played close against the Rams, but if you know anything about football, we all knew they were going to play close against the Rams. I mean, you obviously jokingly said they were going to blow them out by 30. I said I'm going to tease the Niners to 1.5, and if you asked me if I'd bet the Rams plus 8.5, I absolutely would, and I middled that game. So, it's a divisional game on the road against the Rams and Matthew Stafford. Well, Danny Dimes isn't Matthew Stafford. They don't have a Puka, and Sean McVay is not their coach, and we're at home for a home opener. I don't think the Giants are ready for the smoke that's about to happen. I think this is the week where the Niners get another blowout for sure.
What you think on the over/under?
So the over/under right now is at 44. And my problem with it, I can tell you that people love the over/under. I mean, you've got currently right now you're looking at 94% of the money and 89% of the bets are on that number of 44. But my problem with it is I see a world where the Giants don't even score. I mean, they played 6 quarters of scoreless football. 6. And then suddenly looked all world against a bottom 3 defense. Well, they're not playing a bottom 3 defense. They're playing a top 3 defense. They're playing a top 3 defense at home in a hostile environment, and a home opener of a team that a lot of people is finally going to get to the Super Bowl. We're finally not injured. We're finally healthy. Everyone's hyped up. Daniel Jones is in for the fight of his life without Saquon Barkley. I don't know that the Giants score until the fourth quarter. Like, garbage time is all they have. So it's hard for me to bet an over when I got one team trying to get there. If I'm going to do that, I'll just take the Niners team total.
So I think Niners -4 on the teaser and the under at 50.5.
Yeah. That's what I like. I'm on the -4. I haven't taken the 50.5 yet because I thought with all the money that was pouring on the over, the line may actually go up and I'll get a better number. But it hasn't. So despite all that money being there, and that's the other thing, right? So you've got 94% of the money pouring on the over, and Vegas hasn't moved the line. Does that tell you that they're worried about it, or they think the Giants aren't going to score in this football game?
Yeah,
I mean, like, you don't have 90% of the money coming in one way, and the number doesn't move. And so far they haven't moved it, but I'll wait till kickoff and see if they want to bump it up for me and give me, 51 or 52 would be nice on the tees for sure. It's one of those games where I just play it by game script, right? If the Niners come out and they're absolutely on fire and the over starts jumping through the roof, well, we know they're going to run the second half, so then you just start live betting the under, and vice versa. If the Giants come out and score, then I start betting the Niners on absolutely everything because we know they're anything but consistent.
What was the final score? Is 30-23 in the Rams game? Okay, 83 points.
Yeah.
The Rams aren't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, call the final score whatever you want, but that field goal was questionable at best. Really felt like McVay knew the number. I'm just saying. I can't imagine why you would kick a field goal there unless you knew the number. It's not college. It's not like point differential matters, okay?
Yeah. It was interesting. So,
it was very fishy is what it was. It wasn't interesting. It was fishy at best. Anyways, I just think it's great that you talked smack about Puka last week, and I laughed, thinking he was going to come out and lay a fantasy dud. Of course, I started him in our league, and he put up 37 points. Puka's ready to go, baby.
Yeah. And how'd you finish last week? Did you win?
No, I finished dead last. So thank you for telling all the viewers that it was a really good week of fantasy football for me. But the good news for me is, look, as soon as my team is actually healthy, my team is really good. So I'm not that worried about it. But we are injury prone right now. We are like the Niners of normal. We've got starters missing everywhere. So anyways, let's move on. We've spent 15 minutes on a Thursday night football game that we could have summed up in 3 seconds. Niners win. Let's move over to Baltimore and the Indianapolis Colts, a game that you were in town for. Hopefully you're feeling better and you're able to attend it. Baltimore right now, -7.5 the line has moved to. The Baltimore Ravens versus Gardner Minshew. How do you feel about the backup quarterback and the Colts' chances here?
I don't know. It's I mean, I want to go to the game, but honestly, I don't think I want to spend $4 on a ticket because you know me. When I go to a game on the road, I don't just sit up at the top. I'm going to sit on the field.
Sure.
I'm not going out there to sit up top. So I think looking at tickets around, they're like about $330 to $400 for a single seat in between the 40s. So
wow.
Yeah. So I don't know if I want to spend that kind of money right now watching
for the Colts. What are there, like a lot of Colts fans in Maryland? I'm confused.
No, the Colts Ravens game has always been expensive because the history. Obviously Colts were Baltimore,
right.
So that those games that game. I mean, this will be my third time going to that game out there, and I've spent quite a bit of money on tickets there just because tickets go for a lot because it's historically the history they have. Colts coming back to Baltimore. The Ravens fans hate the Colts. They utterly hate Irsay. They hate the family and all that. So they want nothing to do but to just smash on the Colts. So tickets go for a good amount of money out there because they want to see the former Baltimore team coming and playing the new Baltimore team.
Got it.
So I don't know. I mean, I might just stay at the casino next door and watch the game, rather than attending the game. If Minshew's playing, I don't really have much faith in Minshew in that against that Baltimore defense on the road.
But you had
He did
faith in
really well against
AR5?
Houston. I do just because we can run. He can run the ball. I have faith in AR5 because of his ability to run and pass. Where Minshew is, if he's under pressure, he's gonna get sacked. At least with AR, he has the ability to get out of pressure situations and run for first downs. So that opens up our offense a little more too.
So really, what your problem is your problem isn't with Gardner Minshew. Your problem is with the Colts' offensive line, the fact that it hasn't been addressed because you keep having to draft quarterbacks.
We're not drafting quarterbacks; we're deciding the wrong quarterbacks. Literally, last year we signed Matt Ryan.
What's wrong with Matt Ryan? What's wrong with Phillip Rivers? What's the problem?
Not bad.
You couldn't find anybody else to sign this year that was in their 21st year in the league? No?
We made the playoffs with Phil Rivers. I will give us that. We made the playoffs, and we should have beat the Bills that game. But anyway, that's not. That'll be another conversation we have down the road.
Carson Wentz? No?
God. Ugh.
You want anybody? Hey, by the way, I hear Trey Lance is out there somewhere. If you want everybody's leftovers, you might as well just get them all, He can run.
AR5. AR5 is way better. Anyway, so yeah, it's hard for me to give a take on this game yet, just because I don't know who's the quarterback going to be. I think the line's dropping because people are assuming that AR will pass concussion protocol. And Shane Steichen did come out today and say that both Ryan Kelly and AR did progress today in the protocol. So that's a good thing. Progressing on the first day is always a good thing. So let's just see how he does by Friday. If he's able to get clear by Friday for a quick walkthrough or practice, then he'll be good to go. Then I'll have more faith in the Colts. But right now, it's just hard for you to give a pick without knowing who the quarterback's going to be.
Yeah. I mean, to me, the obvious pick here is AR5 has a chance to pass concussion protocol, and I actually think that Gardner Minshew is one of the best backup quarterbacks in the NFL. And with the amount of talent that you have sitting around him and the way that the Baltimore Ravens play football, I think you just tease the Colts. And you tease them now because you don't want the line to go down anymore, right? You can find it at 8 in a lot of books. You can get it at 14. You're going to give me 2 touchdowns for the Baltimore Ravens. It's not like they ever go blow the doors off people. That's not what they do, right? They run the ball a lot. They play ball possession football. Harbaugh likes these games where he wins by 7 to 10 points, right? They don't cover a lot of big spreads. They're like the Chiefs in that manner. They do enough to win the game, and they ensure victory. They're not here to run a score up like Nick Saban in Alabama. That's not what we're doing, right? So I like the Colts with 2 touchdowns. I just tease the Colts 2 touchdowns. You could tease it the other way for the Ravens to win the game. I think both work. I think this is a game that's one of the easy middles of the week, and we middle a lot, and football's not exactly a tough sport to do that on teasers. So I'm planning on middling both. I took -1.5 where the score's at 7 right now, or at 7.5, and I took +14 earlier in the week, and I'm not going to touch the over/under. I don't really know what to expect there. I'm just going to watch a game where the Ravens probably win by 10.
Yeah, over/under show is at 45. The last few games in Baltimore, the game has gone over the total. Both teams, even Carson Wentz at quarterback 2 years ago when I was in that game went over. It was like 33-30. I think the final score was. It was in overtime.
Okay.
So the game, sorely those teams do battle it and do have a shootout. Excuse me. So, excuse me. Sorry, but we'll see what happens with that game.
Told you, he's a little on the win the day, but he didn't want to let you guys down, so he showed up for the fight anyways,
Oh, sorry.
You're good, brother. You're good. Feel better, man. Jesus. What are they putting in the water out there in Indianapolis?
No, I'm in Houston.
Oh, you're in Houston. That's right. You went to watch that game that I didn't even think would have fans. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's good. Let's move on over to Cleveland. And let's talk a little bit about Monday night while we're at it, I guess, because it's going to play into later. But the Cleveland Browns are now hosting the Tennessee Titans, who I got at +3.5 for this game. The lines moved down to 3, I think, with the Kareem Hunt signing, which is weird because they already announced that Jerome Ford's going to be the starter. I don't really know why that would have a big impact, but I don't know what else could be moving the money here other than I'm sure there's a ton of pro money coming on the Titans just like I did. It's just a spot where Mike Vrabel covers a lot. How do you feel about it?
Yeah. I hate Mike Vrabel. I hate the Titans, but that's personal. That's just personal. From a betting standpoint, I really think Deshaun Watson rebounds this game. I like the Browns' defense. Honestly, their defense is so good. They really impressed me a lot. I mean, you take away Deshaun's pick six, that fumble six, Browns win that game. Simple as that.
They win the game if the Pittsburgh Steelers don't manufacture 2 touchdowns off turnovers. Right?
Yeah,
they have
okay.
the interception
The
to start the
fumble six,
game. They have the fumble at the end of the game. And the fact is, the Pittsburgh Steelers offense looks inept. And I get they looked inept against the Niners, right? And so everyone kind of went, well, that's the Niners. Well, then they looked inept against the Browns, and we all went, well, they have a great defensive line. You think the Titans have a bad defense? Because I don't. I think they just look inept again. Deshaun hasn't looked like Deshaun since he left the Texans. Can we be real?
Yeah. Oh, of course. I agree to that. I definitely agree with you on that. But I think on this game here, Cleveland at home, give me the key number 3. I believe this game is 24-16. I think Cleveland wins the game 24-16. I think the under is probably the best play in this game. If I had to make my best bet on this game, would be under. I think Titans have a good defense. Browns have a good defense. I don't see a lot of scoring in this.
39.5 is what I'm seeing it at most books right now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the people are going the over right now. I have it at 39 on my book, so it's it's moving up to the over.
93% of the bets have come in on the Tennessee Titans, and 48% of the money. So literally almost an even split. So that tells me that pros and Joes alike like Tennessee. I mean, here's what I'd say. The pros obviously like Tennessee. Mike Vrabel's the only coach in the last 20 years to cover as an underdog more than 50% of the time. So, the pros love Tennessee. And then if you watch the game on Monday night, which is one of the most viewed games of the week by the public, the Browns didn't look good. So now all that money's funneling there too. That's what's dropped the line here to 3. I liked it at 3.5. I think at 3 you just push a lot of the time. I think a tease to 9 for the Titans is an automatic. How do you feel about that?
Yeah. I think Tennessee plus 9, getting a touchdown Tennessee makes a logical sense.
Yeah. So I've got them at 3.5. I've got them at 9. I'm thinking about doing a Sunday show, by the way, at after maybe before Sunday Night Football type thing, where I get on and just really quickly rattle off whatever lines I think are going to move, because every week I'm getting better numbers than we end up giving on this podcast. You know what I mean? So yeah. There's a few bets I locked in early that obviously you can't get at this point. So I think if you can't get this game at 3 or at 3.5 for the Titans, then you have 2 options. You tease the Titans to 9, you do it right now. I think that's an automatic bet in the week. And or you wait, because 93% of the money's poured in on Tennessee, and you get the Browns at 2.5.
Yeah, I
don't think you take either of these teams at 3. I just don't think it makes any sense. Just take the teaser and move on.
Yeah,
so there's other games.
Yeah.
So let's take the teaser and let's move on. Let's move on to the Detroit Lions hosting the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta, my underdog team of the year, the team I told you I'm going to be putting a lot of bets on, the team that the public doesn't like but I love. So far, Atlanta's got me paid a lot the first 2 weeks. You think they get me paid again?
Desmond Ridder, huh?
Has nothing to do with Desmond Ridder. See, I'm aware that 22 people play on a football field as starters every week, and the quarterback is just one of them, brother.
It's true.
That's it. I'm all about Bijan Robinson, the amazing offensive line, the veteran leadership, a good head coach, a stable football team that gets in the trenches, wins the war, grinds it out, and they grind it out for 4 quarters, just like they did last week against Jordan Love. It's okay to say you were wrong, brother. It's fine.
Actually, I did. I wasn't wrong. I mean, I did take Packers on the teaser and on the points.
In fairness, you won the bet, but it doesn't mean that you were right. I try not to be results oriented. The Falcons look like the better football team, even when they were down 24-12. They looked like they were playing better. Like, they scored that touchdown in the back of the end zone that was called back, which I don't understand. His feet were clearly in. I don't know what they were ruling on that play. So, really, you shouldn't have covered the 3, because from where I'm sitting, they won the game by 4 more frickin' points. But the Falcons just look like a better team for 4 quarters. And I get it. They were at home. And Green Bay had a lot of injuries, and that game's probably very different sitting in Wisconsin with a full roster, but that's not where we were sitting.
Yeah, I think for me with this game here, my play is over 46. I think this game's gonna be a shootout between both these teams in Detroit.
Do we
Detroit
know if
losing,
Amon-Ra St. Brown is playing football?
he is not officially in yet?
I mean, it's cramps. My initial guess would say he's going to be on the field. And considering the line moved to 4, because the line opened, you got to remember, this line opened at 5, okay? Then the line went down to 3.5, and then you could find it now at 4 or 3.5. So the fact that it's kind of holding there tells me that what we're really waiting on is Amon-Ra St. Brown news, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So you think the bet in this game is the over, because I got the over sitting at 46.5.
Yeah, I have over. Well, I have over 46. I bet the over already straight, and I teased the over with a couple other games. I like a lot. I'm a big over under guy, and I'm just going to focus more on overs. I just feel like I do better as an over better than I do as an under better. I just see.
Well, I mean, of course, you feel that after week 2, where you had 14 of 16 games go over, but the week before that, everything went under. So, I think it was a bit of an overreaction by the books on lines as well. And, this kind of thing happens, right? But that's like saying the roulette wheel hit red 9 times in a row. The next one has to be black. It's just not true.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, exactly.
So, I like game script, man. I bet most of my over-unders live, and week 1, like I said, I went 5-1. And last week I had a rough week and went 1-5. So, what are you gonna do? Sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. It would just kind of regress to the mean. That's sports betting. So.
Exactly. But yeah, I think the play on this game is going to be over 46. If you can get a 46, do it. Unfortunately, half still is fine too. I think both teams score over 25 points each. I like 31-27 is my final score.
I like the Atlanta Falcons plus 9.5.
Yeah, 9.5. I took Falcons as well. I said I think this game is definitely not going to be within the touchdown between both teams. I don't think the Falcons.
I will tell you that if you get the line to go far enough down for Detroit to be minus 2.5, I like the Detroit Lions, but I don't think this line gets there. And you can't take Atlanta now because you had Atlanta with plus 5 earlier in the week. So it's just one of those lines that looks like pros jumped on it early and knew that Atlanta was getting way too many points. And now the line's really not good for either side other than the teaser.
Yeah.
I just take the teaser, the plus 9.5. There's not a lot to talk about there other than I don't think Detroit's winning any games by more than a touchdown.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my play.
Let's move over to the Green Bay Packers and the New Orleans Saints, where your boy, Jordan Love, brings into town Derek Carr and his inability to score touchdowns.
Seriously, what the fuck is his deal? What is his deal? I don't get it. This guy, I don't know why I did a season-long prop on him throwing over 23 touchdowns. Like, he just is god-awful, And then when he gets down there, he throws touchdowns, and he gets called back for penalty, and then they run it in. Like, you fucking dicks.
I'm laughing because every year I'm the guy. I'm like, man, this is the year. Derek Carr, he's going to go off. He's got more weapons. He's going to progress to the guy we all know he can be. He's got a cannon. And every year he just comes out and baffles me by looking mediocre at best. He's a fine quarterback. There's nothing wrong with him. He just doesn't get any better. Like, yeah. I don't understand. He can't finish a drive. How many weapons do you need? New Orleans is loaded with talent. And you can't punch in the ball ever. I mean, he has no problem going between the 20s. He's great at that.
I don't understand his deal, why he struggles so much. I mean, you have Michael Thomas, you have Juwan Johnson, you have Chris Olave. It just makes no sense. But, when he gets Alvin Kamara back, if he does not utilize his patch catch abilities and run and gets points on the board, then Derek Carr, is just an absolute trash quarterback. This guy needs to get a league.
Do we think any of this goes on Dennis Allen? Because I don't think Dennis Allen's a very good head coach.
Well, that too. But, I mean, you got to faith in your quarterback too. Your quarterback's got to be able to control that team, control the offense. And if your quarterback can't do that, then, you can't put everything on the coach.
How many throws did he miss to a wide-open Olave? How many?
6.
On Monday night? 6.
6. Yep.
I'm like, I didn't know. I just knew it was a lot. I kept looking up. I'm watching both games, obviously, trying to get live bets in the whole thing, and I kept looking up. And every time I looked up, it felt like Olave was underthrown by 15 yards. I'm like, Jesus criminy, what are you doing? It's
Yeah,
driving me
pretty bad.
nuts. I mean, the Saints should have won that game by 10.
Yeah.
Let's talk about their defense though, because really, Derek Carr is not what's going to decide what we bet this week. Is Jordan Love ready to play against a real defense? Because you can say what you want about the Chicago Bears, but that is arguably the worst defense in the NFL right now. And I don't think Atlanta's defense is all world, but I do think the Saints are what, top 6, top 7?
They're definitely a top defense, but they're different when they're playing in Louisiana than playing on the road. Historically, the Saints defense do struggle on the road, especially outdoor weather. Yeah, I know it's not cold yet in Green Bay, but just it just they just don't play well when it's outdoors. So
Yeah.
I think the the great play in this game is the over. This game, if you tease it 36.5, I think the over 42.5. I like them both. I think this game, I think both teams score with 20 points. So I like the over a lot. In this game, I'm thinking 27-21 Green Bay. That's my prediction this game.
Yeah,
Green Bay puts
I
at least
like that
27
Aaron
points.
Jones is coming back. I'll be teasing the over as well. And obviously, I have Green Bay as my lock-it in this week. So Green Bay's over here sitting with -2. And I like it a lot. I just think that I think that 2 is too good of a line. And this is one of those games where if you want to tease the Saints to 8, I don't think their defense is ever losing by more than a touchdown. But until Derek Carr can show me something other than what he's shown me, I don't trust him. And LaFleur is going to have a much better defensive scheme than the Panthers had for him last week, and he struggled mightily.
He did against a questionable Panthers defense, but of course Panthers always play them tough historically. So
Yeah. I think we learned a lot about Jordan Love this week, though, right? I think that Jordan Love is still a rookie quarterback in terms of first-year starts, obviously. I'm aware of how long he's been in the league. I think that Jordan Love is going to have a lot of struggles this year. I think Jordan Love's going to have a lot of moments that remind us that he ain't been doing this that long. And I think the Saints can be one of those games. I'm just also convinced that look how many times the Panthers turned it over, and the Saints couldn't manufacture any points out of it. So I don't know that this is the game it comes to bite him in the ass. And that's why I like Green Bay. But I would not be shocked if Love turns this ball over twice this week.
I don't think so. I think Jordan Love throws 3 touchdowns again, and he'll lead the league in touchdown passes.
So what you're saying right now is you would like to trade AR5 and a first-round draft pick for Jordan Love all day, every day, twice on Sunday?
No.
I mean, apparently Jordan Love is your favorite quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, I like him in Green Bay though.
You don't think he does well with Michael Pittman?
I'm saying I think he does well, but I like AR5. I wouldn't trade AR5 right now. He's a young quarterback. I mean,
you don't talk about AR5 the way you talk about Jordan Love, bro. You better figure out who you're married to because your mistress and you seem to get along quite well.
Hey, you know what? I have nothing but love for Jordan Love.
There it is, guys. Nothing but love for Jordan Love. Jordan, if he shows up in Wisconsin, he's probably stalking you. You should probably run.
Oh, wow.
Did the Colts play Green Bay this year, buddy? Because I'm concerned. Which jersey do you show up in? A Colts jersey or a Love jersey?
Next year we play in Green Bay. And definitely going to that game for sure. I mean, after watching you and Sean go to that Green Bay Niner game in that snow, and Sean told me how he was froze his ass off, I'm like, I wanted to experience that.
Dude, that was the greatest game I've ever been to in my life. It was -8 degrees, and we shredded the Packers like we always do in the playoffs. And then I got to watch all their loyal fans just chuck Aaron Rodgers jerseys all over the stadium. It was awesome. It's one of the best experiences of my life, and I was so cold. Dude, I'm a California boy, bro. I don't deal with -8 degrees. I've never been anything like that in my life. But it was. I'll tell you right now. I ripped off every layer, dude. Like sweatshirts went flying, gloves went flying. We won that game. I was like, I'm not cold anymore. I've seen the light. It was good, dude. We're gonna move on to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they're gonna host the Houston Texans. And this number is big. This number is bigger than I think you think it is. This number opened at 9. You like Houston here?
Yeah, I like Houston at 9 points. I like C.J. Stroud. He looked good last week. I'm not too fond of Trevor Lawrence this year. I mean, he looks like he's just not the T-Law that we thought he'd be.
No,
like last year he looked really good. This year he's just coming out slow. Not sure what his deal is.
That live
he looked
bet
pretty good for
over
both.
that live bet over I put on the Chiefs game last week that should have hit so easily when it dropped down to 27, and T-Law just could not find Calvin Ridley in bounds. He found Calvin Ridley all day out of bounds.
Yeah, exactly. All damn day. I mean, he was getting the ball to Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk was heavily well in the offense. Christian Kirk had an amazing game.
T-Law played bad.
But T-Law just when it came to like the third downs, or the second longs, whatever, he just couldn't convert. He was just off. And I felt like he just wasn't moving around the pocket very well. When I watched the highlights of that game. Obviously, I didn't watch the game. I was at the Colts game when it happened, but I watched the highlights and I was like, Jesus Christ, T-Law does not look very good at all.
And then say what you want, but quite frankly, C.J. Stroud looked a lot better last week than I think either of us thought he was going to. I get he got sacked 6 times. They've got offensive line problems for sure, but Stroud played a good football game. Yeah, he had a very good second half. He looked much more comfortable than he worked week 1 against Baltimore. And Jacksonville doesn't really have a great defense. I like the Houston Texans on a teaser here all day long. All day long. I tease this number up.
Plus 15.
And I like the over, man. The over at 43.5. Tease it down to 37 or don't. Just take 43.5 because I think at home this week T-Law gets right. Okay. Does he get to where we thought T-Law would be, which is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL? No. But I think he gets right enough to put up 24 points. Sure.
Yeah.
And Stroud can score in garbage time, as we know.
26-23.
Yeah, Stroud can score in garbage time, so I like the Houston tease. I think it's just a very easy bet to cover, and I like the over 37.5, and I think they both just print. I don't overthink it. But I do think T-Law gets a little right this week. I just think this number is wacky. This number is nuts to me. And what's even crazier about it is that 3 of the most public 8 sports books right now, I can actually get it at 9.5. So you can go lay the Texans right now at 15.5 on a teaser. And then you can go to another book and lay Jacksonville -2. That's nuts.
That's pretty good.
That's absolutely nuts to me.
Yeah, it is.
In fact, 4 of these sports books are local to me right now in Las Vegas, so I might be taking a drive when the podcast is over. I need to go and lay both sides of this football game, I think. Let's move on to basically teaser alley. I mean, a lot of what we talk about right now is going to be teasers for the rest of this week. It's kind of one of those weeks where there's a lot of really good football teams playing a lot of mediocre teams at best, right? And I love my teasers this week. So let's head down to Miami, Florida, where the Miami Dolphins play the Denver Broncos, who made me look like absolute fool last week. Thank you, Denver. And they're favored right now by 6.5. I teased this the second it came out Sunday night. Before the Patriots game was even over, I had this bet in. And I love the Dolphins on a teaser here down to half a point, basically to a pick 'em. How do you feel about this game?
I agree. I think Dolphins smashed the Broncos. Honestly, I think this is going to be a double-digit win victory for the Miami Dolphins. I don't think the Broncos can keep up with Tua and that offense. I don't know if PS2 can guard Tyreek Hill the whole game. And he's a great corner. Don't get me wrong, he's a great cornerback.
Patrick Surtain's a monster, but Tyreek Hill is the fastest man on a football field. Period.
Correct. And not only that, side of Jalen Waddle, who I think is in a concussion protocol, but from what I'm hearing today, he is all signs point to him, clearing.
Waddle should be cleared. I'm more confident in Waddle playing than I am Amon-Ra right now.
Yeah, I am too. Waddle's had no symptoms today at all, and just needs to go one more test by tomorrow. They should be good to go, and practice by Friday. So, I don't think the Broncos, Wilson can keep up with that scoring of Miami Dolphins. I think a double-digit victory for Miami. I like Miami to win by double digits. Probably between 10 to 14 points is my prediction. So if you lay Miami at 6.5, obviously jump on it and take it on a teaser, of course, because teasing Broncos with 12.5 is a risky play. You're better going with Miami -0.5. And Miami on the straight 6.5.
I also like teasing this over to 42. I mean, these teams score a lot of points, both of them. Russ hasn't really been the problem, and I get it. I watched last week's game too, and Russ certainly wasn't the answer. But if you look at Russell Wilson's QB metrics for the year, he's like top 8. It's not like he's really struggling. Their defense has disappeared. It's gone. I don't know what's happened to Denver Broncos defense. It's gone. So, over 42, I love that number. You know Miami's giving you at least 24 here, for sure. At least.
Yeah.
I think Miami's giving you 31. They're at home. Their home opener with this team, which a lot of people right now have as the AFC favorite to go to the Super Bowl if Tua stays healthy. He's getting the ball out fast enough to where he's not even taking hits. They've got talent all over the field. I just think the Dolphins are a really, really good football team right now, and it's about time I start giving a little respect to Mike McDaniels and what he's done down there to put this team together. And I guess they can give a little thanks to Kyle Shanahan, because our ridiculous trade for Trey Lance is what landed them Jalen Waddle, Bradley Chubb, Tyreek Hill. They got all those players off the picks that we gave them. That's what the Niners could have to not get a fourth-round pick back for Trey Lance. We could have had an absolute dynasty, but we gave half of that away to the Miami Dolphins, and they did well. They made all those picks turn into a fortune. McDaniels is a hell of a coach, and if Tua stays upright, the Dolphins are a scary, scary football team.
Yeah, I agree.
I think Tua Tagovailoa is one of the worst underrated quarterbacks in the NFL. I really do. That man releases the ball so fast. Every single play, he makes just the right decision, super fast, pinpoint, tight window. He's just really underrated. I just wish he didn't get hurt so much, but it looks like they fixed it. I mean, if he's going to throw the ball within 3 seconds every play, then he's not getting hit.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's move on over to Minnesota, where the line opened at a pick'em for the Minnesota Vikings and the Los Angeles Chargers. And you could still get them at a pick'em, but you're also going to find that Minnesota -1.5 in some places. The over-under opened at 51.5, and it's up to 54. How do you feel about this football game, man?
It's gonna be a shootout. Shootout in Minnesota. Both teams have shitty defenses, and have some powerful offensive teams. So the over is what you want to fire on. This game, both teams scoring over 30 points each.
So you don't care. The line's already moved 3.5 points, and we got it late.
I mean, I think tease it. Tease the over with the Miami Dolphins over. And if you want to do a 3-teamer, Lions, Dolphins, and Vikings over. Oh yeah, catch up, pick it in.
All right, you've got a Big Al pick. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm not going to make it a printing money pick, but you got a Big Al pick. I don't like anything in this game. This game for me is live bet central. This is if the Chargers get a lead going in the fourth quarter, then I bet the Vikings because Brandon Staley will just open that barn door up and let them crawl right on in. And if I can get the over going in the fourth quarter where I need like less than 3 touchdowns, I'll take that because it'll start with the Vikings getting a touchdown, then the Chargers getting a score, then the Vikings getting a last-second score, then overtime. I mean, this is what they do. They just open the door and they let the other team, no matter how far behind they are, no matter how bad they're playing, just waltz right in. That's what they made Ryan Tannehill look like a superstar after Tannehill had one of the worst first halves I'd ever seen.
Yeah.
Ryan Tannehill. Kirk Cousins is going to look like Peyton Manning out there on Sunday is what he's going to look like because I don't even think the defense is bad. The defense has a lot of good players. Brandon Staley. But public service announcement. Fire that man. Please. It's gross.
I don't know why. I don't know how that job feel. I don't get it. How do you have a job? I just understand.
It's like blackmail or something. I don't know anyone in the world that could be as bad at what they do and still maintain employment in any industry. Let alone head coaches that get fired like crazy. Dude, he's so bad.
I just don't get it.
He's just so bad. You can watch a Chargers game, and the entire time you watch it, you can just call you like, oh yeah, they're up by 9. Here it comes. Here's the implosion. Too soon. Still too soon, probably. Yeah, and they do. They go out there and they just freaking literally fall to pieces every single time. And then he sits at a press conference and he's like, I don't know why you guys are mad at me. It has nothing to do with the Jacksonville game. It has everything to do with the Jacksonville game from last year. We're not talking about their hangover from Jacksonville. We're talking about how every time you have a lead, you forget how to coach. It's the same thing every time. Every time. I'm not even a Chargers fan, but dude, it's just so embarrassing to watch. I can't do it. I can't take Minnesota. I don't believe in them either. I can live bet the shit out of it. I'm not teasing it. I'm not doing anything with it. That's where I'm at on this game.
Can I give people a really good? I mean, if people do a monster teaser, a 13-point teaser. This is a teaser idea. I don't do very many of these very often because I'm not a big fan of 13-point teasers because
me either.
Because of the juice so high. I mean, I did bet 4 out of 5 monster teasers last week. Of course, a lot of them had the same games,
sure,
which is obvious. But my 14 monster teas I have already locked in is I have the Chargers over 41, Houston Texans plus 22, Packers plus 11, and Falcons plus 16. I think that's a hell of a play on, and I think that's a money ticket right there.
Okay. There you have it. Al's got a monster teaser for you. We're going to move on to a game I actually want to talk about, and this game's got me fired up. I don't know what to do in this game, Al. I'd love your thoughts on this. I have already laid a bet for sure, and it's over here on my Lock It In, but it's my least favorite Lock It In of the week. It's the New England Patriots at the New York Jets. Jets, no Rodgers. Zach Wilson, how do you feel?
I gotta go Patriots.
Yeah, Bill Belichick's not going 0-3. He's just not going 0-3.
Exactly. He's not going 0-3. I have no faith whatsoever in Zach Wilson at all.
And that's not an overreaction to the Cowboys defense last week, who have torched 2 quarterbacks in a row?
No, because they've torched Danny Dimes and Zach Wilson. Okay, let me see the Cowboys do that against Patrick Mahomes.
Well, this week you're going to get to see him do it against Josh Dobbs. So, maybe at some point the Cowboys are actually going to play a football team. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, the Cowboys defense is good. Okay, don't get me wrong. They're a great defense. You have a lot of talent on that side of things. But let me know when. I'm just curious. I got to see what their schedule is real quick here. I know that the Patriots come out. Okay, yeah, Patriots in week 4. Bill Belichick. I know you have Mac Jones on the other side of the ball, but if Bill Belichick loses, okay, this week against the Jets, if that somehow fucking happens, I'm gonna say it right now: Patriots beat the Cowboys next week. But
Patriots beat the Cowboys next week. Spoiler yes. Alert! Are you going to be here to tell the people that the Patriots are beating the Cowboys? Because I am not going to give that as a printing money pick.
I'm basing it only if Belichick loses to the Jets this weekend. That's all I'm basing it on.
I'm telling you right now, I'm not giving that as a printing money pick. So you'd be more than happy to come on here and let people know the Patriots will be beating the Cowboys. I'll be more than happy to take the Cowboys. I do not trust Mac Jones at all. And that's my problem with this football game. I don't trust Mac Jones. But I do trust Bill Belichick. I do trust the New England Patriots defense. I don't trust the Jets and Zach Wilson. And the number's too good. Just give me New England minus 2.5 because the expected value of this pick is just too high. But of my lock-it-ins, it's my least favorite lock-it-in.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at there. It's a Buffalo going down to Washington, D.C., and the Washington Commanders. Buffalo. Buffalo by a million. Buffalo by a lot. My favorite teaser of the week is the Miami Dolphins teased to 0.5 point, and the Buffalo Bills teased to 0.5 point with them. The game's at minus 6.5. The over's at 44.5. What do you like?
I agree in the teaser with Buffalo. Man, I don't know, man. I just feel like Buffalo should be favored by a lot more here. I don't know why they're getting less than a touchdown.
It feels like a trappy line for sure.
Yeah, I just
and I'm thinking
6.5 points.
I'm thinking that what they're thinking is that Buffalo is going to have a letdown spot after the Raiders game, and they're on the road, and the Commanders are riding a high. But I think the team that's going to have the letdown spot is the Commanders. They're just not that good of a football team. I watched that Denver game from start to finish, and
Yeah.
Denver did more to lose that game than Washington did to win it. And I get that Denver's Chase Young was back, and he's a key point of what they did to Denver from the Washington side, obviously. And I just don't care because Chase Young's not doing that to Josh Allen. Josh Allen got right against the Raiders, and he got right with Gabe Davis. And Kincaid looks like a monster, cooks much better out in the backfield than anything he's ever had before. And they're not losing the Washington Commanders. They're just not. So I like this line. I like it at 6.5. I love it as a teaser. And the thing is, when Josh Allen covers a spread, he destroys the spread. He has no problem covering double-digit spreads. His problem is he just shows up sometimes and loses to teams that he should never lose to.
Yeah.
So I'm taking it at both. I took it at 6.5. I took it on the teaser. I love it with Miami. That's where I'm at.
Yep, I like it. I like it a lot. 1.5 or half a point. That's good 2-team teaser.
All right. All the way to the other side of the country in Seattle, Washington, where the Seattle Seahawks get the Carolina Panthers. What a game. I can't wait. It sounds exciting. The Seahawks are -6. How do you feel about it?
If Bryce Young doesn't play, Seahawks all the way. If Bryce Young does play, I think this might be a competitive game. Bryce Young has a lot of promise to him as a rookie quarterback.
I didn't think he played that bad against the Saints defense. I think the Saints defense is quite good, and he certainly didn't play well. Let's not give him kudos, but he played well enough for the team to have opportunities.
Yeah, shot to win that game. So, if I said Bryce Young's out, 100% fire Seahawks. If he does play, then it's kind of a game I probably just watch and bet alive if I see it live. It's not really that good of a game to watch.
To me, this is a spectator sport. It's probably my biggest avoid of the week. There's not a lot to say here. I think the line is propped up based on A, the Bryce Young injury, and then B, the overreaction to Geno Smith beating a very publicly liked team in the Lions this week. And, I don't like Seattle enough to tease it down to a pick 'em because they might just lose to Carolina. So I just do nothing. I see value in a lot of other places.
Yeah, I agree. It's a game that I just don't even bother betting it. Why bother?
We're moving on down the same division. We're going to go out to the desert, where Josh Dobbs has reinvigorated his already massively lackluster, not-happening career with the Arizona Cardinals. And they're going to bring in and welcome a real football team. Not the Giants that they got last week. Not the Commanders they saw week 1. No. They get Micah Parsons and this thrilling Dallas defensive pass rush, and I think they get murdered. Your thoughts, Big Al? Because the line is -12.5.
Yeah, I'm teasing the Cowboys -6. I'm taking it on the 12 as well. I'm at 12, but
I'm taking it at -6. I've already done so. Quite frankly, I think I like it at 12.5. The Dallas Dak has a history of playing against bad football teams and just blowing them out. He's a lot like Josh Allen. He has no problem blowing out bad teams. He has a problem stepping up against good ones. And you saw what their offense put together against the Jets defense last week that is good, just based on how many mistakes they can make a bad quarterback make, how good their field position is, and just how tired they can make a defense by staying on the field for as many minutes as they got to be out there. If Zach Wilson looked that bad, Josh Dobbs is going to fall apart. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care that they almost beat the Giants. I don't care that they almost beat the Commanders. I don't care that people think he's playing good and efficient. I will say this until I fall over. Josh Dobbs is terrible. He is not a starting quarterback in the NFL. This is a joke that he is even starting for this team. It's an absolute joke.
Yep, agreed.
Cowboys. I would have put the Cowboys over here as a survivor pick, but quite frankly, it's too easy.
Yeah, no waste of fire pick on the Cowboys.
I don't want to waste the Cowboys. The Cowboys are, in my opinion, the Cowboys are probably a top 5 team in the NFL right now. I don't know what the Chiefs are, so we'll talk about that more when we get there. But, at this point, Survivor has become fade Arizona and fade Chicago, basically.
Yep, pretty much.
So
Yeah, Cowboys all the way.
let's.
Cowboys on money line, Cowboys on the straight bet, Cowboys out, Cowboys everything.
What about the over/under at 43? My fear is that Dallas beats it by themselves.
It's a tough one. I don't know, because it could also be 34-0. I just the
Right.
game. I just don't want to. I don't really want to touch.
I just don't want to touch it. I agree.
Yeah. I
Let's
think the
move to Kansas City. Let's go to the other double-digit massive spread this week, where the Kansas City Chiefs opened at 13 against the Chicago Bears in a game that they are now favored by 12.5 with an over of 47.5. I have my thoughts. I'll give you the easy one. Survivor pick of the week is the Chiefs. The Chicago Bears are never, ever flying into Arrowhead and beating the Chiefs.
never.
Ever.
No.
And the Chiefs look dysfunctional enough to me as an offensive unit, even with Travis Kelce back last week, that I don't know when I'm going to feel very comfortable taking them later in the season. So just grab the Chiefs now and take the expected value pick of the week. That's my Survivor pick, at least, in the leagues I'm still alive. The leagues I didn't take Denver in. Anyways, thoughts on the game?
First two games, Chiefs. The first two games have not looked all that great. They haven't looked like the normal Mahomes. They looked. Mahomes doesn't look like his normal self the first two games. But you're having your. Is it a home opener? Yeah, I believe it's your home. No, yeah, it's your home opener, right? No, home opener.
Their home opener was Thursday against the Lions.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so the second home game. So I just think Bears defense is horrible. I think Mahomes lights his
The
top.
Bears
his
defense tackles like I'm playing in high school. It's arm
Yeah.
tackles and scared players. It's coverage on the back end where receivers are open by 5 to 10 yards. It's gross.
Yeah,
It's all kinds of gross.
I do like this game to be as crazy as it sounds. 37-20 is my final score. My prediction in this game.
Yeah, I don't
So
hate the over on a tease to 40.
Yeah,
because
over.
because the Chiefs have a spot that they could really get right here. They can. And Chicago can score, and the Chiefs struggle with running quarterbacks.
Yeah, they do. And I think this is a type of teaser bet you can make. You can take both sides in this game.
Yep.
I think taking Bears plus 18.5 to the Chiefs minus 6.5 is actually a solid teaser.
That is the teaser that I currently have in. I don't have them together, obviously. I never same side tease the same game. I always put them on different bets, but I do have both sides. I have the Bears at 18.5, and I have the Chiefs at 6.5 because historically the Chiefs don't cover double-digit spreads anyways, and that's when their offense is actually functioning at a high level.
True.
I just don't see it. I don't hate the under. It's actually my the over. I don't hate the over, but it's actually my third least favorite bet. I like the Chiefs minus 6.5 for sure, and I like the Bears 18.5, and then I like the over, and I think they're all three playable.
Yeah, I agree.
So everything on a teaser, though. I don't like any of this straight. This number is way too good. And I get it. There's going to be some pro money that funnels in here on the Bears because they just think the Chiefs look dysfunctional, but I can't funnel any money on Chicago until I see a defense show up. Just none. I mean, I'll funnel almost 3 touchdowns, but that's different. I'm not funneling straight money. No way. Hey, let's move on over to Sin City, where the High Rollers are going to be slamming the Raiders this week. We've got the Las Vegas Raiders welcoming to town the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have manufactured an amazing 19 points of offense through 8 quarters of football. That's right, over 2 points a quarter. And somehow they're favored by 1. What the hell am I missing, Al?
I don't know.
This is a massive overreaction to the Buffalo Bills game, right? That's all this is.
Yeah.
And the Steelers getting a win on Monday Night Football, so the public is just slamming bets on them and apparently thinks their defense can score points like this in every game. I don't know.
I mean, Raiders home opener in Vegas.
Yeah.
The Steelers haven't looked all that great in the first 2 games on offense, so it's going to come down to can Jimmy G not turn the ball over, which is going to be really hard for that to happen. This is a Sunday night game where I'm just going to fade it. I'm only going to bet this game if I'm up big and I want to lay a little action on the game. But if I'm down for some reason going into this game, I'm not going to try to recover losses. What's the point? This game is just not a game where I'm going to try to recoup losses.
Well, let me explain this to you. I love this game. This is a lock it in for me. I am all over the Las Vegas Raiders. I actually have it on a teaser. This is crazy that I got on Sunday night. The Raiders +7 when the line opened at Pittsburgh -1. 88% of the bets are on the Pittsburgh Steelers. 12% of bets on the Raiders. How much of the money do you think is on the Raiders?
42%.
57.
Wow.
The
Jeez.
pros went, we just don't care what you think, public. You're wrong. The Steelers suck. We want the Raiders in the home opener. And I'm on that side. I bet them immediately to +7 on Sunday night in the look ahead. And then I hammered them yesterday again. I got this game at 1. And I might just take it to get it 2.5. I don't care. Kenny Pickett is not good. He's not. And Deontay Johnson's out. And you can't tell me a team that's managed to manufacture 19 offensive points. 7 of them came on a 74-yard slant route to George Pickens. They have no offense.
We don't.
It's just not. They have no offense. I think the Raiders are ready for this game. I think they're dinking and dunking. I think that Devontae Adams is going to have a field day. I think Jimmy takes care of the football better than people realize, and I would know that from all of the years he quarterbacked San Francisco. I am so far slamming the Las Vegas Raiders down the Steelers' throats until they can prove to me they can score on offense. I'll be slamming every team down their throats, especially on the road.
Yeah. We'll see. Yeah, I said it's a game that I just don't like personally.
Let's move on over to the Philadelphia Eagles as they get on a plane and soar into Tampa Bay. Yeah, not Tampa Bay anymore. It's Baker Marina. How do you feel about Baker Marina and the Tampa Bay 2-0 Buccaneers? They are currently 5.5-point underdogs.
I got them at 5 right now on my books.
Actually, I see them at 4.5 at some places. This is another place where the first place I looked was 5.5. It's another line, 4.5, 5, or 5.5, all available if you were to look hard enough.
Yeah, so this is a game that I like the Bucks to cover on the teaser line.
I like the Bucks to cover on the straight line. But go ahead.
Yeah, +5.
Yeah, 5.5. I already have the Bucks.
Baker Mayfield, I think he's showing that he actually can be a quarterback if he has weapons around him. Having Chris Godwin and Mike Evans is really huge. They have a decent run game, not the greatest, but they also have a pretty decent defense too. So that kind of helps with the fact too that Baker knows if he makes a couple mistakes, his defense can come and get him out of those mistakes. Or prevent from teams blowing him out on the other side of the ball. So I do believe in Baker. The first 2 games he looks good, and it makes it. I said a quarterback, is only as good. It can only be as good if he has the talent around him to be successful. And when you have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin as your targets, that's the best he's ever had in his career. He never had, he had OBJ in Cleveland, but OBJ could stay healthy, and OBJ he had no one else. He had no one else at all. Then he goes to the Rams, and he had nobody, and he barely put a points over there. So he went to Carolina, again, nobody. He had no weapons. So, Baker never had anyone to throw the ball to. He actually has 2 guys that can catch the ball and that are legit threats to the secondary. So now Baker's able to show off his talent because he has someone to throw the ball to that knows he can catch the ball. And so I do like a lot with Buccaneers one Monday night. I do like the 5. I think about the 5 is. I think the Bucs actually could very well win this game. It would be definitely a teaser bet 100%. But if you want to put a little bit of the money line, I would lay on it. I think it'll get +185 on the money line. It's not a bad bet. Maybe lay like a half a unit or a unit on the money line just for shits and giggles. Especially if you're having a winning week. Might as well put a little money on the Bucs on the money line. I think that's an upset that's going to happen this week because I guess every week there's going to be an upset. It happens every year.
So the Bucs right now are +192 on the money line.
Yeah, so I'm getting 185. So either way, I think you're getting almost 2-1 on your money, and I think it's a solid bet. Bucs can easily win that game, and they're at home. So it's like
this is interesting because you want to make this about the Bucks, and I want to make this about the Eagles. They are banged up, brother, banged up, and they've got a ton of injuries. And where they're banged up is the secondary, which Baker, Mike Evans, and Chris Godwin have looked great in, and Jalen Hurts doesn't look like Jalen Hurts right now. He's missing guys. He's making bad throws. Instead of keeping his eyes downfield like he did last year when he starts running, he's just committing to the scramble. He looks uncomfortable out there, quite frankly. And that was against the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah.
If you looked uncomfortable against the Minnesota Vikings at home, I guarantee you're uncomfortable against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense on the road. Guaranteed. And this place is going to be rocking. Okay, this place is ready to go. They are excited. They have a 2-0 team. And I said last week after that Thursday night game that I just barely squeezed by as Minnesota scared the life out of me. I'm going to start fading Philadelphia. I'm going to start fading Philadelphia because the money is too high, it's too public, and they're too much of a fan favorite, and these spreads don't make any sense for how they're currently playing. This isn't last season anymore. It's not. And I like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I like them a lot. Now, I do have a money line teaser of the Eagles that I put in, but I also have it teased the other way, and I'm just trying to middle it, and quite frankly, it's the last leg on a Monday night, and I'm not even confident enough that I won't hedge it. I'll probably just hedge Tampa Bay come Monday night because I like Tampa Bay a lot in this football game. And the funny part is 81% of the bets are on the Eagles, 90% of the money. When one team is liked that much, I like the other side.
Yep. I
just like the other side.
Go Bucks, go.
I don't like this at all. I think this is a bad spot for Philly. And they need to get right, man. They Darius Slay can't do everything. They need to figure out who's actually replacing C.J. Gardner-Johnson. They have problems that Sirianni is not addressing right now.
Yeah.
The other Monday night football game in this weird double-header run-them-at-the-same-time experiment that Disney's doing were the Cincinnati Bengals host the excelling and just much better than I ever gave them credit for being, so I have to accept that, Los Angeles Rams. This line is currently minus 2.5. 1.5 in some places, but 2.5 mainly across the board. It opened at minus 1.5 Bengals. It's actually moved back to 2.5. I don't understand that at all. Has Joe Cool been cleared yet?
No, he hasn't been cleared yet.
So why would the line move back towards the Bengals? Because if Joe Burrow doesn't play this game, and he doesn't play this game like Joe Burrow, the Rams aren't winning by 2. They're winning by 20.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm surprised. Both my books don't have. Oh, actually, one book does have a line. The other book doesn't have a line. So.
I already have this bet. I got this on the look ahead on Sunday. I got the Rams at 9.5 on the tees. I've got the Rams on the money line. I'm gonna, this is the Rams all day long. The Bengals look dysfunctional. I would not be surprised if the Bengals are like 0-5 to start the year.
If Burrow plays this game, he gets his revenge and beats the Rams, and he beats them at home in Cincinnati.
So you think if Joe Burrow starts, the Rams lose this football game?
Yes.
So you think Joe Burrow got right in the fourth quarter against the Ravens last week? Because I ain't seen Joe Burrow. I think he's on an island in the middle of the fucking Caribbean right now, spending $275 million, and he hasn't played football since last season.
No, he gets things right against the Rams. He's at home, so I think. Bengals...
Geno didn't look great against the Rams. Brock Purdy missed a lot of throws against the Rams. Why do you think Burrow gets it right?
He's at home, and the Rams struggle. We're gonna struggle going from West Coast to East Coast. So
not for a Monday night game. If this is Sunday at 10 a.m., I agree with you.
Yeah, I still like. If Burrow plays, Burrow wins the game. That's just my belief in this game. I don't think the Rams can beat the Bengals in Cincinnati.
Do you like the Rams on the teaser that you can get right now up to 8.5?
No, if I'm teasing and I'm going to the team that's going to win the game, I'm going to take the Bengals at 3.5, just in case some miracle bullshit field goal happens. But
So what you're basically saying is you really think Burrow's going to play?
yeah, I think Burrow plays. I think Burrow does play this game.
Because if Burrow doesn't play, my bets are freebies.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Burrow doesn't play, then yeah, you're getting the Rams at 9.5, 8.5. That's that line drops to probably a pick 'em if Burrow don't play.
Oh, if Burrow doesn't play, this line moves to Rams -2.
I don't
There's
know
no
that
way
much.
they're favored with a backup quarterback that no one's ever heard of.
I wouldn't say favorite. I think it'll be a pick 'em game. It's gonna be a game that's just you're going to pick, and they're going to just it'd be a pick.
Who
I don't
is
think
the Bengals' backup quarterback, Al? Do you even know?
Yeah, it's that guy, that white guy.
It's Jake Browning,
Oh yeah, I know that guy.
the
He was
undrafted quarterback who spent 4 seasons at Washington in 2018 and has never played in an NFL game. And you don't think the Rams will be favored? Jake Browning.
No, I think it's gonna pick up. I think it'll be a pick 'em game. I don't think the line drops that much. I don't think the line moves from
Well,
that.
if the
2.5
line drops to a
-2.
pick 'em and Jake Browning is the starting quarterback, then I'm gonna take 50% of my bankroll and put it on the Rams.
Oh, there you go. Jump on it.
Are you not gonna jump on that?
No, because I'm. I mean, I'm. I know for me, I'm one of the. Just going to see how the week is going for me before I got Monday night. It's hard for me to really bet Monday night games until the actual day of. That's just kind of the way I do my betting. So it's really hard for me to like choose it right now or not choose it, but like bet it right now. Plus, it's I don't know. It's a game I just don't really care. Like, if Burrow don't play, man, I just don't care about betting this game. Like,
I
don't
just
care.
think you're overvaluing the Bengals, man. I see a team that's just not good. They're just not good at football, man. Burrow doesn't look like Burrow is having the same struggles that Mahomes is currently having, and when you don't have Superman getting the snap, then the Bengals and the Chiefs both look ordinary because they are.
Yeah.
Both
Yeah.
rosters are very ordinary. So I got some look-ahead lines. Next week is a highly competitive week. The look-ahead lines for next week, the biggest spread out there is -14. The Niners host Arizona. Then you got the Chiefs -7.5 over the Jets, and you've got Philly -7.5 over Washington. Other than that, there's not a single spread over 5, and 10 games are under 3. So we'll have a lot to talk about on what is going to be a very competitive week versus this week where we're down here in teaser land and teaser central. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I do want to recap every teaser line that I like this weekend because I think that is where most of your money is going to come from. And I like these teasers more than most of my lock-it-ins. So just because I said the lock-it-in doesn't mean they're actually my favorite bets of the week. They're just my favorite straight bets of the week. So again, and this is going to be kind of in order of my favorite bets. San Francisco -4 is my teaser lock of the week. I love that game. I'm going to have them in probably 60 to 70% of my teasers. Then I've got Miami point half, so basically a pick 'em. The Bills in the same boat as basically a pick 'em. Those are my next 2 favorite teasers. Then I've got the Colts up to 14 against Baltimore. I think 2 touchdowns is way too much to give away against the Ravens team. I've got the Tennessee Titans +9 against the Cleveland Browns. I don't think Deshaun Watson can do enough. And without Nick Chubb, I think Tennessee just keeps this close, and Vrabel might even pull off a victory. I like the Houston Texans up to 15.5 against a T-Law that just can't seem to get it right down there in Jacksonville. I am a huge fan of the Kansas City Chiefs at 6.5, and then the Chicago Bears at 18.5, as well as the over in that football game. The Dallas Cowboys at 6, and I should actually move that to right below the Niners. I forgot about it. Dallas -6. I'm a huge fan of that number as well. Then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers up to 11.5 against a Philadelphia team that cannot seem to get it right. And if you can still get the Rams at 8.5, I think the Rams beat the Bengals this week. Those are my teaser lines in teaser land. We've been hitting a lot of teasers lately, Big Al. Put them together any way you like. I typically live with 2-team teasers. I think they print. The juice isn't that terrible as long as you know you're winning a really high percentage of them. Then occasionally I'll put in some 4s on the back end, normally for a little less money. And then that way, if you lose one of those games, you still made money on the 2-team combination, if that makes sense. So that's kind of how I structure my teasers. I never go above 4. You're not hitting 8-team teasers. That's insane. Don't do that. I got some messages last week like, man, you gave 9 teaser lines and you lost 2 games. I lost money. And I'm like, well, I won 46 bets, so you structured bad. So I just figured I would kind of go into how we do this. It's a lot of little 1-unit bets over and over again, right? So it's going to be Tennessee +9 with the Niners -4. Then it's going to be the Niners -4 with the Bills -1. And then the Niners -4 with the Dolphins -1. And as long as the Niners are the crutch of that deal and they win, I'm going to win at least 2 of 3 normally, right? And then I'm going to configure those the other way around as well. It's kind of like doing a round robin on regular spreads. There's just not really a way to do a round robin with teasers, so I created my own. So if you're trying to figure out why you've taken 10 to 12 teaser picks from me and 2 or 3 of those games lost and you lost money, you're just being too greedy is what you're doing. These are unit size bets, and if you don't understand what a unit is, whatever your bankroll is, right, you just divide that by 100. So let's say your bankroll is $1,000, okay, and you were to go and divide that by 100, then you're going to be betting $10 a game. When you do that, if you have a bad week, it doesn't feel that bad. You're going to be fine. That's how you're supposed to be sports betting. If you're out and you've got $500 and you put 300 of them on the Tennessee Titans +3.5 because I said lock it in and they lose, I don't know what to tell you. That's not on me. I never said we were going to pick perfect. I said we were going to pick above 60% or so. That's what sports betting is. So hopefully that kind of helps you guys understand. So for the season, I'm at 46-34 as an overall total record. I posted that on the week 2 recap of my YouTube yesterday, and I am up about 20 units based on which bets have hit, obviously. So if you've taken all my bets and your results are different than that, it's just kind of how are you structuring those bets? And we're not trying to get rich quick, guys. That's not what we do. We're trying to win units here, units there, and slowly get to a point where our bankroll's a big enough spot to where we can just bet more per game. And you do that, and eventually you'll start making significant money. So it doesn't matter if you're betting $10 a game or $100 a game or $500 a game or $1,000 a game or $10,000 a game, as long as you're betting within the means of your bankroll. So I just figured I'd kind of give some advice at the end of this because I have got some comments. I have got some feedback on, hey, man, I took your advice and I bet those 4 lock-it-ins on a 4-team parlay and then you went 3 of 4 and I lost. It's like, well, yeah, I didn't say to parlay it. I never said I could see the future. That's not what I said. I said I think these are the games that have the best value, and the most value you're ever getting in a sports betting pick, even if it's like the Niners -4, probably 80%. That still means that 1 in 5 times they're not covering that line. So, I certainly wouldn't bet the house on it, guys. That's not the way this is supposed to work. So if you have any confusion on units or anything else, you could drop in the comment. Let me know what kind of videos you want to see. Let me know how else I can help you profitably print some money this week, and Al and I would be more than happy to cover whatever we can. That being said, I think that wraps it for us. Al, you got anything for the people?
Just so I know, like I said, I have kind of the same thing on your end. I did a couple 2-teamers. I do a lot of 3 and 4-team teasers. So I know I like to do my 3 best ones all together, and I mix and match them with other ones as well. Yeah. So I have Niners with Chiefs, Niners with Dolphins, Niners with Cowboys, all 2-teamers. I like Niners easily coming 4, and then I like the other 3 a lot too. I'm sure I'll do a little more as time goes on. By tomorrow, I'll probably put a little more teasers in, but right now I have those 2. I have those 3 2-teamers. I said Niners, Chiefs, Niners, Dolphins, and Niners, Cowboys, and then I have a bunch of 3-teamers with Niners, Cowboys, Chiefs, Bucks. So those are some really good ones.
Yeah. Anyways, you got anything else for the people, sir?
That's it, man. Good luck, everybody.
Remind everybody where they can find you, Big Al.
Big Al Poker on Instagram and Big Al Cards.
Perfect. You can find me at Printing Money Podcast pretty much absolutely everywhere at this point. Make sure you tune in every week. We are dropping knowledge, dropping picks. We've been winning. You've been printing. This is sports betting, and it's more than just a game. It's an art. We'll see you for week 4. Have a good one.
Gotta aim for the top like, hold up, yeah. I can never doubt myself, I know better. All of you critics be acting like you know better. Blowing the smoke, but I know when the dust settles that I'm in my element. It's evident that there's levels to the game.